Shabbat Shalom. Good evening. Happy Sabbath. Sabbath peace. Good afternoon and good morning, depending on where you are on the planet Earth at this moment. Greetings to the 144,000 who are being sealed right now in the four corners of the earth and being prepared for these last days of the history of this planet as it now stands, as the Bible tells us in Revelation chapter 10, that there should be time no longer. Greetings also to the rest of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel that are scattered to the four corners of the earth, according to Bible prophecy and according to the Bible prophecy. And greetings to you all as well. Greetings to those that may not be of the bloodline of Shem, of the bloodline of Eber or of Jacob, but want to serve the God, the true God, the only true God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whose name is Yah, short for Yahweh, through his son, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, Messiah, Yahweh Shai, and want to become one in the olive tree with the children of Israel. Greetings. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, trying to save lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep the place clean. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for us for our convenience. Double blessings on those trying to deliver boys and girls, children, babies, teenagers, even adults from forced prostitution, child prostitution, sex slavery, human trafficking, child molestation, pedophilia, child pornography being done in homes all over the United States and all over the earth. And double curses upon those that practice these things and perform these heinous acts on children. Finally, blessings upon those trying to help the homeless. 600,000 human beings, men, women, children, families, veterans, without a roof over their head tonight. And millions around the world in the same or worse positions. Blessings upon those that even in a little bit are trying to help. And on those people themselves, the suffering ones, for theirs is the kingdom. Blessings and greetings to those in the chat. Sister Josephine, Brother Mark, righteous is the way. Blessings to those also in the chat. Before we get started, I talked to a friend of mine. I had not talked to him in a number of years, actually. He was a person that I had baptized and actually performed a wedding ceremony when I was an SDA. And since I left the SDA faith, I lost touch with a number of people that I had known when I was SDA. Well, I got a message from him today. And he has terminal cancer. And he was begging me to help him. And he put a GoFundMe page up. And if you are led by the Spirit to do that, I put the link to the GoFundMe page in the description box below this video. And so you will see it. And if it's for you to do it, then you will see it. You'll see his story and you'll do it. If not, don't worry about it. But I put it in, and I promised him that I would mention it so that people will have that option, because as you will see, he's not in very good health right now. He found out apparently in February that he was sick. He didn't know how sick until just a few weeks ago, when he kept getting pain and he was getting weaker and he was losing weight. And finally, he went to the emergency room. He had went to the doctor several times and they didn't know what was going on. And make a long story short, they found out that he had cancer in all of his internal organs. Throughout his body is racked with cancer. And so he is home now. And so he has bills and he has children and he has family and he has responsibilities. And so that's what this is for. So I just wanted to mention that for him. Again, it's in the description box. If you're so led, then, you know, then do what the Most High leads you to do. What seemeth, as the Bible say, what seemeth good unto you. We have been studying the prophecy of Jeremiah. And as we have said many times, as we begin to study this particular chapter, which is 29, Jeremiah is a precursor to us in the last days. And let's talk about just a couple of examples of what I'm talking about, just as an overview before we get into the word. In the Bible, there was a child of Ham named Mizraim. Mizraim founded a nation. He was the father of a nation. That nation was later named, at first it was named Kemet, but it was later named by the Greeks and the Romans, it was called Egypt. And in the Bible, because it was named Egypt by the Greeks and the Romans, wherever the word Mizraim is used, they use the word Egypt. But also in the Bible, the word Egypt is also used to pertain to the house of bondage. The house of bondage. Okay, so you have Egypt, the place, which is Mizraim's nation, and you have the house of bondage, which, for example, in the covenant, the beginning of the covenant, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And he says that multiple times in the books of Moses. Moses is writing that multiple times from the Most High. I brought you out of the land of Egypt. And it also says out of the house of bondage. So that Egypt to the Israelites in terms of history, one of the things that would come to their mind is deliverance from the house of bondage. In fact, the Passover feast was a deliverance from the Egyptian house of bondage. Okay, so that in the Bible, bondage is associated with Egypt. Egypt has an interesting relationship with Israelites because it was associated with Egypt, but also we know that from the times of Abraham, Israelites would also go down into Egypt for various reasons, whether generally it be famine, or they were led there, or they was taken there, sold there as Joseph was, or they fled there as we did after the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem in 70 AD. Our fathers fled into Egypt and beyond Egypt, as the Bible said, beyond Ethiopia into what we now call West Africa. So Egypt has multiple meanings. It could mean the land or the house of bondage. Same with Babylon. Babylon was a pagan kingdom that our fathers were taken to in captivity because of disobedience. And then, of course, we see in the book of Revelation that the great whore has on her forehead, the first thing written is Babylon, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. So that Babylon's connotation is not just that one nation that existed at the time of Jeremiah, but it's a worldwide system now. A worldwide system of government and religion is Babylon. So that you could be in the United States and it could be Babylon. You could be in England, it could be Babylon. You could be in China, it could be Babylon. The worldwide system of government and religion is Babylon. Okay, and so when we're studying Jeremiah, we're studying the history of our people, the Israelite people, as they were taken captive into Babylon, and how the Most High was dealing with them as captives. And also you see that not only in the book of Jeremiah, but you see it in Ezekiel because he was also captive in Babylon. And you see it, of course, in the book of Daniel because he was also taken captive from Judah to Babylon. Okay, so we see it in the multiple areas of the Bible, and it's always pointing to the book of Revelation and to the era in which you and I live, because we're at the end of Babylon. Again, Revelation chapter 10, which we studied on Wednesday night a little bit. Revelation chapter 10, which is under the sixth trumpet, which is also part of the sixth church and the sixth seal. Revelation chapter 10, beginning at verse 1 and reading down to verse 1 down to verse 7. And I saw another mighty angel come down from heaven, clothed with a cloud, and a rainbow was upon his head, and his face was as it were the sun, and his feet as pillars of fire. And he had in his hand a little book open. And he set his right foot upon the sea and his left foot on the earth, and cried with a loud voice, as when a lion roareth. When he had cried, 7 thunders uttered their voices. And when the 7 thunders had uttered their voices, I was about to write, and I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, seal up those things which the 7 thunders uttered, and write them not. And the angel which I saw stand upon the sea and upon the earth lifted up his hand to heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever and ever, who created heaven and the things that therein are, and the earth and the things that therein are, and the sea and the things which are therein, that there should be time no longer. And in the days of the voice of the 7th angel, when he shall begin to sound, the mystery of Yahweh should be finished, as he hath declared to his servants the prophets. The mystery of Yahweh that should be finished is the establishment of the kingdom of Messiah. Okay, it should be finished. It's complete, and it's time for the establishment of Messiah. There should be time no longer. That means the way this earth is now is going to be no longer. Babylon, which is the way we live right now, where we are is Babylon. No matter where on the earth you are, you're in Babylon, because it's a worldwide system. It's a worldwide financial system. It's a worldwide religious system, no matter where you are. You can name any place on the planet, and you're going to be under one of the controlling systems of finance or religion, or both generally, okay, in this entire planet, don't matter where you are, okay? So that's how it is, and it's going to remain so until the 7th angel sounds their voice, okay? Now, the 7th angel, that 7th trumpet goes with the 7th church and the 7th seal, and that's when the saints are delivered, and that's when plagues begin to fall. The last 7 plagues begin to fall. See, we're already starting right now. Listen, people are trying to ignore what's right in front of us. The media, news, movies, artists, everything is geared to cause people to ignore what we're clearly seeing. And let me just give you a couple of things, and you tell me, am I right or not? Tell me if I tell you these things. Do you see that there are fires happening all over the planet? Nature's fires because of the heat and the dryness. Do you see that? Am I making that up, or is that happening? Is there stronger typhoons and tornadoes and hurricane hitting places in terms of its intensity at high levels? Are there major earthquakes hitting places right now? Is it happening? Is the food being poisoned so that people are dying of all types of cancer and disease? Is the water being poisoned? Is that happening right now, or am I making that up? Is there people being shot in the street unarmed, or am I making that up? Is there political corruption going on so that corporations own politicians? Am I making that up? And that's not just in the United States, that's worldwide. Is there a worldwide banking system, or am I just making that up? Are there more divorces happening now than ever in the history of the United States, or am I just making that up? Is there a virus that is killing people all over the world right now, or am I making that up? Are they trying to give us vaccines for it, or am I making that up? Was this the first virus that came, or has there been others previous to this over the last, say, 20 years? Or am I making that up? Or has there been an Ebola a bird flew. Or am I making that up? All of these things are happening right now. And there's more than I just named. Are there young people being snatched off the street and sold into human trafficking and sex slave operation? Is that happening? Is there a thing where people are paying millions of dollars on a worldwide scale to watch grown men have sex with little kids? Is that happening? Or am I making that up? Are there religious figures molesting children? Are there just people working day to day, coming home and molesting their little daughters? Are they stepchildren? Are they foster children? Or am I making that up? Are all of these things happening on the earth right now? And when you add it all together, what does it add up to? What does it add up to? It adds up to destruction. It adds up to the same ending that the Bible talks about with Sodom and Gomorrah. It ends up the same way. All of these things are happening every day in the United States and in around the world. All of them and a lot more. But see, nobody is bringing all of that to you at one time to tell you in a totality what's happening. Why? Because they don't want you to think about that. Because they don't want you to actually feel that. Because if you start to think about that and feel that and see that, then you start to think about yourself and you start to think about, what am I doing? Where are we headed? What's going to happen? And it causes you to start getting deeper and more serious about how you're thinking about this earth and about what's going on. But nobody wants you to think like that. They want your mind to be diverted as much as possible. And the worst of the actors in this delusion are the religious leaders. Religious leaders are the worst. And they're going to have to answer a lot. See, when you look again, Revelation chapter 19, when you look at Revelation chapter 19, and you see the return of the Messiah getting ready to come establish his kingdom, right? And the Bible told us in many places, but I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to give you Revelation 19, Ezekiel 38, and Ezekiel 39. Okay, I'm going to give you just a couple of those so that you can see for yourself, right? When the Most High comes to establish, also we'll give you Zechariah chapter 14. You can read those. They're all saying the same thing, that Messiah is going to come and establish the capital city of New Jerusalem in the mountains of Israel. See, when the Bible talks about heaven, it's not just the third heaven. There are three heavens. There are places that are high on the earth, like high mountains. There's between the earth and the third heaven, which is the space, and there's the third heaven. So when he sometimes talks about establishing the kingdom of heaven, he's talking about in the mountains of Israel. Because Israel, the true Israel, and the true is called what? Mount Zion, right? Mount Zion. And he says, I'm going to cause the heathen to come upon what? The mountains of Israel. Because that's where the kingdom is going to be established. Now, when Messiah returns, as we have studied in the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 19, there's going to be a resistance. A resistance. And we talked about this, but it's good to keep going over it because, brothers and sisters, like I said, we looking at the tunnel. We can see the end of it right now. Okay, so it's good for us to go over these things, to be prepared, to reinforce them in our spirit. Right? To reinforce them in our spirit so that when it starts to really get thicker, you don't panic. You don't panic. You stay cool. See, that's what meekness is, you know. Meekness is not weakness. Meek means you stay cool under pressure. That's what it means to be meek. You stay cool under pressure. You stay cool under unrighteousness. You stay cool. You don't let it phase you. That's what it means to be meek. Okay, Moses was, Bible said, the meekest man. Why? Because they were talking about him behind his back, his own sister and his own brother, talking about the Cushite that he married, and what? He stayed cool. He didn't say nothing. He just stayed cool. You understand? And so the meek of the earth, we have to be meek in that we stay cool. We don't get riled. We don't get hyped when we see stuff. We stay cool. You got to stay cool. Okay? Because the rest of the world going to go crazy. They're already going crazy. They're already going crazy. Just today, I saw news. There was these people in Tennessee. A school board was meeting because apparently kids that are under 12 can't get the vaccines, right? So the parents of the elementary schools in this particular county in Tennessee, I forgot which one it was, but they were meeting about mandating that the kids should wear a mask. Okay, they were saying we want the kids that are not vaccinated to wear masks. Now, whether you believe in it or don't, I don't think a mask is going to hurt anybody. I mean, if somebody puts a mask on, I don't think it's going to hurt them to put the mask on. Well, there was a group of parents in this conservative area that were so angry at the thought of the county voting to make the kids wear masks that they formed a mob outside the hall where they had the meeting. And they were going to physically hurt the people that were wearing the mask. And doesn't that sound stupid? So it was like, when I saw it, it reminded me, if you go back and look at the civil rights movement of the 60s and see in Little Rock, Arkansas, when them 7 Black kids were going to that Little Rock Central High School, and you saw the vehement demonic spirit of the people that was trying to stop them from getting into school, spitting on them and yelling and going crazy. Their faces was contorted. Well, look at that news thing. I didn't put it in the description box, but you can find it. Just look it up. They were going crazy like that over a mask. And I knew it wasn't about the mask. It's a demonic spirit. Demonic spirits are taking possession of people. See, somebody asked me the other day, when does the tribulation begin? I told you, it's already started. It's starting right now, and it's going to get more intense. When is the 144,000 going to be sealed? The sealing's already started. The sealing of the 144,000 already begun, and it's going to get stronger. The demonic possession of people has already begun. There are people that have turned away the spirit of the Father for the last time, and they're now under complete control of Satan. And there's going to be more. It's going to get more intense as we get closer. This is where we at right now, y'all. Okay. So in Revelation chapter 19, where Messiah is returning, verse 19 is very interesting. Notice what it says in verse 19 of Revelation chapter 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken. Taken meaning captured. And with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceiveth them that received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive in a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So look, when it says beast and false prophet, some people would get the impression that this is just like one individual. No, this is not one individual. This is a whole group of people that are religious teachers. The beast representing the religious teachers of Christianity and Rome, and the false prophets representing the false teachers of all the other religions that are under the umbrella led by the so-called evangelical leaders, your Joel Osteens, your Creflo Dollars, whatever, your Billy Graham types, and all of these Southern Baptist teachers. They're going to have a problem, because at that time, everybody's going to realize they all got a problem, and it's going to come up on them first. If you notice, you didn't see the devil getting thrown into the lake of fire. He's going to get thrown in the lake of fire at the end of the 1,000 years. These cats not even going to come up after the 1,000 years. They getting ready to get their reward right now, about 12 years from now. They about to catch what they got coming. All the religious leaders that's teaching this delusion. This is a very serious thing. Very serious. Okay, very serious. So people think it's about, joking and philosophy and, getting their money or whatever. Ain't that much time for this foolishness. But the delusion is getting stronger. You're going to see very shortly a revival of religion especially in the Christian walk. You're going to see a revival of Christianity, a revival of going to church on a big scale. You're going to see that soon. That's the next step. Okay, part of the unity of the devil's people. And they're going to be telling you, why don't you come to church with me? They're going to be telling you that. And when you say no, they're going to look at you like this. Like, why? You involved in some cult? First, it's just going to be looks. Oh, no, he's involved with some cult. But then as the elements of the atmosphere continue to intensify, as disease continues to intensify, as things continue to go horribly wrong on the planet because of the sin of man, they're going to start looking at you like you're to blame because there's a spirit behind them telling them you're to blame. And then it's going to get difficult to state what your beliefs are. And it's going to be difficult because people are going to ask you. And it's going to turn to you for a testimony. All this is prophesied. And it's about to get real. So what we see in Jeremiah tonight is parallel to what we're getting ready to experience. Okay. Before we go there, though, I'd be remiss if I didn't go to the Thessalonians, both 1st and 2nd Thessalonians. Let's start with 1st Thessalonians. You know, we always read chapter 4 when it talks about the resurrection and the ascension of those of us that will be alive when the Messiah returns, right? It talks about the first resurrection and those of us that are people that are going to come up from the grave, and those of us of the 144,000 and the rest that are already going to still be alive. And when Messiah returns, and he's going to take us up onto the sea of glass, as Revelation shows us in Revelation chapter 15. And then some stuff's going to happen on the earth that's going to really hit, you know, the wicked. But let's look at chapter 5, because chapter 5, this is an epistle, right? So you want to read the rest of the letter and see what else he's saying here, because it's all related. So in chapter 5 of 1 Thessalonians, beginning at verse 1, the apostle writes, "But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahushua so cometh as a thief in the night. When they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Now remember that, what he said, as travail with a woman with child, and they shall not escape. He's talking about unbelievers. He's talking about heathen. He's not talking about Israelites, as you're going to see in a second. But the reason I say remember this is because as we study the next chapter of Jeremiah, we're studying 29 tonight. But when we study 30, this is going to come into play. Okay. So it says, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. They shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. See, it's not. See, people don't read the whole scripture. So it says it's going to be as a thief in the night, not to the Israelites, to the heathen, not to the Israelites. He said, you are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. We're going to know. We're going to be waiting. We're going to be on the run, but we're going to be waiting. We're going to know our Messiah is about to return. We're going to know that because he would have shown us. He's already showing us, and he's going to show us more as we get closer. So it's not going to be for us as a thief in the night. For the heathen, though, it's going to be as a thief in the night. Verse 5. Ye are all the children of light and the children of day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, for an helmet the hope of salvation. For Yahweh hath not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by the Master, Messiah, Yahushua, who died for us, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Wherefore, comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as ye also do, as also ye do. And we beseech you, brethren, to know them which are labor among you and are over you in Yahushua, and admonish you, and to esteem them very highly in love for their works' sake, and be at peace among yourselves. Now we exhort you, brethren, warn them that are unruly, comfort the feeble-minded, support the weak, be patient toward all men. See what I say? Be cool. See that none render evil for evil unto any man, but ever follow that which is good, both among yourselves and to all men. Rejoice evermore. Pray without ceasing. In everything give thanks, for this is the will of Yahweh in Messiah Yahushua concerning you. Quench not the spirit. Despise not prophesying. Prove all things. Hold fast that which is good. Abstain from all appearance of evil. And the very most high of peace sanctify you wholly. And I pray, Yahweh, your whole spirit and soul and body be preserved blameless unto the coming of the Master, Messiah, Yahushua. Faithful is he that calleth you, who also will do it. Brethren, pray for us. Greet all the brethren with a holy kiss. I charge you by the Messiah that this epistle be read unto all the holy brethren. Grace, the grace of the Master, Yahushua, Messiah, be with you. Amen. Praise the Most High. So again, he's emphasizing that we should love each other. We should support each other in this faith, which what the Bible describes as the faith of Messiah, which is the faith of Yah's perfect righteousness, the faith of righteousness. We should support each other in the faith of righteousness. See, the Bible sometimes just calls it the faith, but when you go and search it out, it's the faith of Messiah, which is the faith of the Father's righteousness. That's Messiah's faith, right? And so the faith of righteousness is what we're dealing with, because it is only righteousness that will save us, right? We get saved by the Father's righteousness. He's not accepting anything short. He's not taking no shorts. And so we come to the Father seeking through Messiah his perfect righteousness. And he puts it upon us and seals us and declares us righteous, not because we are, but because we acknowledge our shortcomings. That's called repentance. And we want to come back to the Father and be in line, in connection, in harmony, in covenant with our Father. See, those that are in covenant with him, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile, those that are in covenant with him are his people. And that's who he's going to deliver. Those of us that are under the covenant with him in the blood of the Messiah. Okay, praise Yah. And he covers us with the perfect righteousness that only he can give us. Now, 2 Thessalonians is one that we're very familiar with, because this is read often, or at least it should be. But 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, I want to give you a quick background of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 was written in the first century AD. It was written while it was still a pagan Roman Empire. But here, Paul is going to prophesy of the change that will take place from pagan Rome to the Holy Rome. He's prophesying of the coming of Holy Rome and of the Pope. He's prophesying about that. It was several centuries before it would come. The first century is when he's writing this, but it was like the 4th century when Constantine became a Christian. And it was the 4th century that was the establishment of a government religion in Christianity that later became what they call the universal church. The word universal is the word Catholic. The word Catholic means universal church. And it became the devil's masterpiece of religious deception, which is what Daniel wrote about when he said, a God which the fathers knew not shall they honor with gold and precious pearls and stones. In Daniel chapter 11, that is the Christian church. That's the God the fathers knew not. And it's comprised of all the different gods of the past in an institution, a corporation. They've never done that before. until the Catholic Church. It had never been done before. Okay, it had never been done before. And from that model comes all Christianity. Okay, and then out of that whore came Khadijah, who taught a man named Muhammad who could not read and was much younger than her how to read, and he came with the religion called Islam. Khadijah being a Roman Catholic. Okay, all of this is factual. Then a century after the Roman Catholic helped Muhammad discover or come with Islam, what became Islam. They used to call them Mohammedans at first. Then it became Islam. A century later, these people in Eastern Europe, in a land called Khazaria, came with a Talmudic religion that they called Judaism. It was a Talmudic religion, a Kabbalic religion, a religion of black magic and spirits. And they put the cover of Moses' writings over it. They hired some Hebrews to teach them Hebrew, and they made changes to it to go with their Germanic language of Yiddish. And so you have these three together working in harmony to cover the earth. It started with the beast, which is Rome. And here in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, Paul prophesies about that, because at the time you had Roman emperors ruling the earth when he wrote this letter. But he was prophesying about how the Roman emperor would be removed and replaced with a religious figure, which Daniel calls the little horn, which we know now to be the Pope of Rome. Okay, so here we go in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, beginning at verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of the Master, Messiah Yahushua, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, the day of Messiah is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? Now, what is he talking about? Caesar put his image in the temple at Jerusalem. This is one of the things that eventually led to the destruction of Jerusalem. Caesar put his image in the temple. And Caesar was a precursor to the Roman Catholic Church. That's why he said they have to come. He said, he who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Yah. So he said there must be a falling away first. That means a falling away from the faith of the fathers, a falling away from the covenant, a falling away from the truth, which is why the Hebrew Israelite people of the land would be taken captive into all nations. He said there had to come a falling away first. Then once the falling away comes, then the man of sin will come. And the precursor, he said he sits in the temple of Yah, because the temple at this time was not destroyed yet. Remember, it wasn't destroyed till AD 70. Paul was dead by then. But when he wrote this letter, it was still standing. And then the Caesar put his image in Yah's temple. And for those of the Israelites that were followers of Messiah, he had told them, when you see the abomination that maketh desolate, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, take off. That's when you got to get out of there. Because Caesar put his image in the temple of Yahweh. That was the sign that the temple, the spirit of Yahweh, was no longer there. It had been gone for a minute, but that was the sign. It was forever gone. Forget about it. Get out of there. And that's why Messiah said the place is going to be destroyed, leveled. He said there will not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. Paul is talking the same thing here, but he's talking about the coming of what would eventually become the Catholic Church and Christianity. Okay, here, 2 Thessalonians again, chapter 2. I'm start at verse 4 again. Who opposes and exalteth himself above all that is called Yahweh or that is worshipped, so that he as Yahweh sitteth in the temple of Most High, showing himself that he is Most High. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now ye know that, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. See what withholdeth. Watch the language now. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So now, with the putting of Caesar's image in the temple, the mystery of iniquity was already beginning, because now the Caesar government of Rome was taking a religious position in the temple of the Most High. Then he said, he who now letteth will let till he be taken out of the way, because as Daniel 7 showed us, all there are 3 horns that we plucked up, and a little horn would rise that would persecute the saints and blaspheme the Most High. That was the rise of the Pope of Rome. So he said, you have to take away the Roman Empire as it was for the establishment of Holy Rome. He who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. Watch next. Verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now we read Revelation 19. Who was that? That was the beast and the false prophet that he destroyed and threw into the lake of fire, representing Catholicism and apostate Protestantism or evangelical Christianity with Catholic Church and all of the other accepted religions underneath that umbrella. The false prophet being the United States of America and the beast being the Roman Catholic Church. And the dragon is in both. If you recall, the Bible says about the beast that the dragon giveth its power and its seat and great authority. And about the United States, it said it had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spake as a dragon. So the dragon is controlling the whole thing. And they deceive, and he deceiveth the whole world. And they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? See how it all comes together? Here we go again. Let's finish. Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the master shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Asatan, with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. This is the most important sentence in the whole letter. Because they received not the love of the truth. We started this information talking about how people are being deluded, they're being misguided so that they don't see things as it really is. You don't see how this earth cannot last. Just in terms of the environment, man is destroying the earth. It cannot last much longer. The scientists for the world are already telling you, we can't continue like this. We won't survive. And if it wasn't for the Most High holding back the winds, we and Russia and Cuba and all these other nations would have destroyed each other off the earth already, looking for profit, looking for power. Would have been done already. The Most High is holding back the 4 winds until his servants are sealed. So man, the devil would cause man to destroy himself off the earth, and he'd be laughing while it happens. Okay? So there's a delusion going on where people are not recognizing that this is the real situation. The earth is in trouble. If left to itself, man would destroy itself upon it. Both the water, the air, the trees, everything be destroyed. The fish in the sea, everything be destroyed. Man is poisoning all of it. Why? For profit and power. Nobody really cares about the future. They only care about their pocket right now. Okay, that's it. That's what's going on. Let's continue. Even him whose coming is after working of Asatan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause Yah shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. And that's where we're headed right here, as we're talking about in Jeremiah chapter 29. False prophets arising with preaching rebellion against the truth at the end of time. And that's where we're at, because it already happened to our fathers in ancient Babylon. So let's go look at that. Jeremiah chapter 29. Jeremiah chapter 29. Now let's look at this. Start this. This is according to what we studied. This is the precursor. So it's showing what happened in the past is what's going to happen. Is what's happening right now. Okay. So let's take a look at it. Jeremiah chapter 29, beginning at verse 1. I'm going to read verse 1. Let's look at it very carefully. Jeremiah 29, verse 1. Now these are the words of the letter that Jeremiah the prophet sent from Jerusalem unto the residue of the elders which were carried away captives, and to the priests, and to the prophets, and to all the people whom Nebuchadnezzar had carried away captive from Jerusalem to Babylon. So he's writing a letter. That's an epistle. Jeremiah is writing an epistle. And he's writing this epistle to the people that were captives in Babylon. Now, the people that were captives in Babylon were the obedient ones, the ones that heeded the warning from the prophet Jeremiah to surrender to the Babylonians. So he's writing this epistle to them to give them a hope, to give them an end, to show them what's going to happen. Okay? So he's writing this epistle to the obedient ones. This is not to the rebellious ones. Remember, Ezekiel 20 says, I'm going to purge the rebels from among you. So there's going to be Hebrews and, of course, heathen that are rebelling against the truth. Remember, we just read it. He's going to give them what? Strong delusion. Why? Because they did not have a love for the truth. It comes down to that. And in case somebody's thinking in their mind, what this brother know about truth, I want to tell you this. Pray to your father and let him show you what the truth is. I challenge you to do that. You don't have to believe me. Pray to your father. Pray to the creator, the one that made the heaven, the earth, the sea, and everything that is in them. The one that made the trees and the animals and everything that is in them. Pray to him and ask him to show you what the truth is. You won't be able to handle it. It's like Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth. Isn't that what he said? Oh, Jack Nicholson said that in the movie. He said, you can't handle the truth. And it was interesting because in that movie, Jack Nicholson is leading a group of soldiers in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. And he does things in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba that would turn the stomachs of most Americans. And he's telling that man, you don't want to know what goes on because he's under orders. And that was real in terms of what's going on here. There are things that people do that the United States does in their military, you don't want to know. And if you ask people that do know, the Navy SEALs or the marshals of the Army, you don't want to know. Or the Green Berets and the Marines, they send these people to places you don't want to know what they really doing. Okay, and that's what he said. He said the truth. He said you can't handle the truth. That's the deal, and that's real here. Strong delusion, because people want to be deluded. They don't want the truth. They want They want to be, they want to act like it doesn't exist. There's not child prostitution going on. No, do you know that there are little girls and little boys being raped by fathers and uncles, right? Where the mother, the wife of the house, knows it's going on and just don't want to act like it happened. No, it didn't happen. No, I'm not really seeing that. That's not really what happened, because they can't face what the truth is. And they could do that because everything in society is geared toward people ignoring what the truth is. Everything is. And you think I'm lying? You ask somebody that was once molested. I've met many young women that have been molested. That's why it comes to my mind, because I met many of them in my walk over the course of time. And their stories are similar. Uncle so-and-so, or my father, or my stepfather. And my mother was right there. There was once a true story. I'm telling you a true story. I had a friends. I'll just call them friends. It was a mother and there was a father. And they had a granddaughter. Their daughter couldn't take care of their granddaughter, so they brought them to the grandparents. That's not unusual. The grandparents were taking care of their granddaughter. And the granddaughter would do all she could to sabotage her grandparents. Like, anything that they gave her, they took it, and she was looking for more, and she would blow it up, and she would get drunk and get high and steal stuff from them. And they were like, I don't know why she did that. They said, I don't know why she's acting like that. Why did she hate us? And I've known them for a few years, and I started wondering myself, what is going on here? So something came to me, and I asked them a question. I said, was she always like that? And they said, no, she changed when she was about 9 years old. I said, really, 9? I said, he said, yeah, I let her, there was a friend of the family, and I let her spend in Maine, and I let her spend weeks up there in Maine with him because, he had a nice place and it would be good for her to get away. But when she came back, she was different. And I knew exactly what happened. She was 9 and that grown man raped her. And she blamed her parents or grandparents because she felt like, as a little child, she felt like they should have protected me. That's how they feel when they get like that. And she didn't want to talk to nobody about it because nobody would believe her. And the grandparents didn't ask no questions. It was so obvious, but the grandparents didn't want to ask no questions because why? They didn't want to face what really happened. They don't want to think about the enormity of the ugliness of what really happened to their little granddaughter that grew up to become a grown woman and is bitter, can't keep a man, have children and acting crazy because of that one couple weeks she spent up there in Maine getting raped by a grown man at age 9. Okay. And that is how society is. They want to ignore straight truth. They don't want to think about what the real connotation, what the real meaning, what the real implications are of facing what is true. And the Father is telling us the truth will make you free. He speaks through Messiah when he says the truth will make you free. That's why I say curses on people that practice those things. Crazy, right? Curses on people that practice these things. May they rise up in the second resurrection and face what they got coming. Let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 29. Verse 2. After that, Jeconiah, the king and the queen, and the eunuchs, the princes of Judah and Jerusalem, and the carpenters and the smiths were departed from Jerusalem by the hand of Elisha, the son of Shaphan, and Gamaliel, the son of Hilkiah, whom Zedekiah, king of Judah, sent to Babylon to Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives and beget sons and daughters, and take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished. So he's telling them, set yourselves up there. You're going to be there a minute. Make sure that you're multiplying. Israel. He's telling Israel, make sure you multiply because don't diminish yourselves. You're going to be in Babylon for a minute. You're not coming back here. Some of y'all are going to die over there. So don't diminish yourself. Multiply yourselves. Okay? While you're there. Let's continue. Verse 7. And seek the peace of the city whither I have caused you to be carried away captives, and pray unto Yahweh for it. For in the peace thereof ye shall have peace. For thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, let not your prophets or your diviners that be in the midst of you deceive you, neither hearken to your dreams which ye cause to be dreamed. For they prophesy falsely unto you in my name. I have not sent them, saith Yahweh. For thus saith Yahweh, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you in causing you to return to this place. For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith Yahweh, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Then shall ye call upon me, and ye shall go and pray unto me, and I will hearken unto you. And ye shall seek me and find me when ye shall search for me with all your heart. So let's go over this. So they're captives in Babylon. He's telling them, you're going to be there 70 years. You're not coming right back home. Get married, have children, pray for the place you're staying in for its peace, because when it's at peace, you're going to be at peace. He said, my goal for you is to seek me and search for me, so that you will find me when you seek me with all your heart. You see, brethren, our fathers were sent into that situation because they were worshiping other gods. That's why they were sent there. And these are the fortunate ones. The ones that were worshiping other gods, you're going to see when we continue studying Jeremiah, continuing to worship the Queen of Heaven, they met death and famine and pestilence and the sword. But these were permitted to live and be taken captive into Babylon. And these were the obedient ones. And so he was like, you're going to seek me and find me when you search me with all your heart. I want to give you peace. I want to give you an expected end. I want to bless you. Brethren, that has not changed. He still wants to bless us and give us peace and an expected end. And he's still calling for us to seek for him with all our heart. He's still calling for us to put away the strange gods that are among us and follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's still calling on us to listen to his word from the prophets, like Jeremiah. He's still calling on us, and he will still take care of us, even in the captivity, if we seek him with all our heart. Has not changed. He's got obedient children in Babylon all over this planet. They're humble people generally, poor mostly, and he's got them all over the planet, and they know they seeking him, and he knows them, and they know him. As the Messiah said, my sheep hear my voice, and they know me, and I know them. And no man can pluck them out of my hand, and no man can pluck them out of my Father's hand. That's what he said. It has not changed. He's still seeking for those that want him. And remember what Messiah told the woman at the well, Father seeketh such to worship him, those that want to worship him in spirit and in truth. He seeketh such to worship him. Same thing here. Only now it's worldwide Babylon versus the country Babylon, the nation Babylon, the Hamitic kingdom of Babylon. And Babylon was only going to last 70 years or less, because it was under Cyrus the Persian that they went back to rebuild the second temple. See, so Babylon had them there, and Babylon was destined, as we're going to read further in Jeremiah, Babylon was destined to be destroyed. But he said to his people, while his people were there, they would be blessed. They would be taken care of. He watched over his people while they were in captivity. Brethren, it has not changed. It has not changed. He will still watch over us in Babylon. He will warn us. He will guide our steps. When he needs us to move somewhere, he will move us. He will take care of us, even better than we deserve. But he will, as we seek him and search for him with all our heart. You don't just accidentally have the Most High find you. No, he's seeking for you. The question is, will you respond? And are you seeking for him? Because when you're seeking for him, you'll find him. Because he's looking for you. But he's not a rapist. He's not going to force himself on you. Okay? He can't force people to receive truth. They have to choose to receive truth. Or the strong delusion, as it were. Let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 14. And I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh. And I will bring you again into the place where I caused you to be carried away captive. Because ye have said, Yahweh hath raised us up prophets in Babylon. Know that thus saith Yahweh of the king that sitteth upon the throne of David, and of all the people that dwelleth in this city, and of your brethren that are gone forth with you into captivity. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, behold, I will send upon them the sword, the famine, and the pestilence, and will make them like vile figs that cannot be eaten. They are so vile. Remember the object lesson of the figs he gave Jeremiah? He's bringing that back again, talking about those that are rebellious and trying to be religious and be leaders, though they be leading the people wrong. They teaching delusion and rebellion against the Most High's truth. Okay? And he said, they're going to be like the vile figs, and I will persecute them with the sword and with the famine and with the pestilence, and will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, to be a curse and an astonishment and a hissing and a reproach among all the nations whither I have driven them. Brethren, that's us. We are the children of those rebellious ones. We are the ones that have been scattered through slavery into all the earth. The bloodline Israelites, the southern kingdom of Judah. That's us. Okay, that's us. If you are a descendant of slaves that come to the country you're in with chains on, you're a descendant of Judah. And this is you. And in the world we live in right now, we're the fortunate ones. Because as you know, a lot of our fathers were thrown overboard into sharks, or maybe jumped because they weren't going to come enslaved like that, and eaten by sharks. A lot of them were beaten to death or starved to death or had diseases on their way here. A lot of them had wives here, and their wives got raped, and they had children by their masters. And not just coming to the U.S., to Jamaica, to Haiti, to what was called Boricua, which is now Puerto Rico, to Cuba, all of those islands. Central America, Mexico, we were dropped off on all them places. South America, Brazil, Colombia, there's Hebrews there from back then. We were the rebellious ones, but our father's rebellion, here we are as their children, and we get the opportunity to be now the obedient ones that are seeking the truth. As we look back and see what happened to our fathers, and those of the Gentiles that acknowledge what their fathers did to us and how they were wrong, you have a chance too to come to the truth. No man, I always tell y'all, and it's the truth, no man can make a decision about how and where and by whom you are born. No man could do that. No man can decide what your skin tone are or what you look like coming out of your mama's womb. You have no choice in that. But your choice is how you're going to be, or if you're going to be born again. That you have a choice in. You can decide if you want to be born of the spirit of the second Adam by your father. You can decide that. no matter where you're born, no matter what color you are, no matter whose womb you come out of. Every human being on the planet Earth comes out of one of three: Shem, Ham, or Yafet. You can't control which one, but you can control your choice once you come to the knowledge of who you are, whether you are from Ham, whether you're from Shem, or whether you're from Japhet, and who your fathers was. Otherwise, you're doomed to repeat the errors of your fathers. If you're an Israelite, you're doomed to repeat the wildness and the voodoo and the worshiping of these spirits. You're doomed to do that. If you're some from Japhet, you're doomed to suffer the same fate as ancient Rome and modern Rome will, in ancient Babylon, in all the previous kingdoms that thought their kingdom was going to last forever. You're doomed to suffer that fate. And if you're Ham, same thing. You could worship the son of Hinnom, sacrifices and animal sacrifices and drinking blood and all that, or you can come to the truth. Or worship white Jesus. A lot of children here worship white Jesus now. Or you can come to the truth of the Hebrew Messiah, tribe of Judah. Let's continue. Jeremiah chapter 29. Because they have not hearkened to my words, saith Yahweh, which I sent unto them by my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, but ye would not hear, saith Yahweh. Hear ye therefore the word of Yahweh, all ye of the captivity, whom I have sent from Jerusalem to Babylon. Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, of Ahab, the son of Koliah, and of Zedekiah, the son of Maaseiah, which prophesy a lie unto you in my name. Behold, I will deliver them into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he shall slay them before your eyes. And of them shall be taken up a curse by all the captivity of Judah, which are in Babylon, saying, Yahweh make thee like Zedekiah and like Ahab, whom the king of Babylon roasted in fire. Because they have committed villainy in Israel, and have committed adultery with their neighbors' wives, and spoken lying words in my name, which I have not commanded them. Even I know and am witness, saith Yahweh. Thus shalt thou speak to Shemaiah, the Nehelamite, saying, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the Most High of Israel, saying, Because thou hast sent letters in thy name unto all the people that are at Jerusalem, and to Zephaniah, the son of Maaseiah, the priest, and to all the priests, saying, Yahweh made thee priest in the stead of Jehoiada, the priest, that ye should be officers in the house of Yahweh, for every man that is mad and maketh himself a prophet, that thou shouldest put him in prison and in the stocks. Therefore, why hast thou not reproved Jeremiah of Anathoth, which maketh himself a prophet to you? For therefore he sent unto us in Babylon, saying, This captivity is long. Build ye houses and dwell in them, and plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. See, Jeremiah is telling them, you're in the captivity, don't fight it. And he's saying, why y'all listening to him? Jeremiah is the false prophet. The spirit of Yahweh will reveal who's true and who's not. You don't have to be confused. Neither did the people. The spirit of Yahweh that was on Jeremiah told them that he was the truth. Okay? It's always going to be that way. Always. Ask your father. You don't have to be confused. Ask him. He'll show you. Those that worship him in spirit and in truth, he'll show you. You don't have to be confused. Okay? Only if you want to be confused, because you don't want to see the truth. Jeremiah 29. And Zephaniah, the priest, read this letter in the ears of the prophet Jeremiah. Then came the word of Yahweh unto Jeremiah, saying, Send to all them of the captivity, saying, Thus saith Yahweh, Surely Shemaiah, the Nehelamite, because that Shemaiah hath prophesied unto you, and I sent him not, and caused you to trust in a lie. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Behold, I will punish Shemaiah, the Nehelamite, and his seed. He shall not have a man to dwell among his people, neither shall he behold the good that I will do for my people, saith Yahweh, because he hath taught rebellion against Yahweh. See, when you preach a lie, when you teach falsehood, that's not the truth. For the glory of man, you're in rebellion against Yah. It's very simple, brethren. Truth is rebellion against lies. Lies are rebellion against truth. Very simple. So that on this earth that's based in lies, when you speak truth, when you follow truth, you are automatically, without even trying, you're in rebellion against the principles of the planet because you're in the truth, and the planet is based on a lie. When you follow the ways of the planet and ignore the truth because you don't want to look at it, you are in rebellion against Yah because he is the truth, and against his son, his representative, his appointed messenger, Messiah, because he is the truth. Not complicated at all. Now, the world will bless you when you're in lies. Oh, yes. The world will bless you when you receive lies. They'll bless you. And they'll curse you when you receive the truth. Yah, of course, is the opposite. He will curse you from his throne in the third heaven when you receive lies. And he will bless you, not with money on this planet, but he'll protect you. He'll keep you under the shadow of his power and bless you with the most precious thing he could give you, his spirit, to seal you. He will bless you when you're in the truth. And it's not complicated. The word, this is the truth. And don't have to be a scholar to understand that. All you have to do is go to your Father in heaven. Go to him. Pray to your Father, which seeth in secret. And your Father, which seeth in secret, will reward you openly. Go to him. Pray to our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Pray to him. And he will show you the truth. You don't have to worry about man. It's you and your Father. This is the beauty of the truth, brethren, of the truth of the Israelite God. It's you and him. You don't got to worry about nobody else, not me or anybody else. It's you and him. And let him show you. You know why? Because Father knows how to reach you and me better than anybody else. He knows how to reach us when nobody else could talk to us. He knows how to make things plain to us when we're confused. He does. All you have to do is go to him. And most people are afraid to do that. Why? Because they're afraid to see the truth. I pray the Most High bless you and keep you and bless you with the truth. I pray that you have a heart to seek the truth and that he give you his grace to receive it. Me too. That he give me his grace to receive the truth always and to walk in this path of truth. All of us have temptations and trials and troubles, brother. But the Most High will guide us through all of them if we come to him in truth. May he bless you and keep you. May he cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace and truth. Shalom.